Hey, this is H1, and we're about to be running it back with another episode, just learning about how to win a chess game. And I just wanted to get this out there because a lot of people don't know, and there's some chess videos on it, but not that many, especially in the way that I'm going to teach you how to play chess. So if you're trying to learn more about chess knowledge, chess wisdom, chess understanding, please, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like, hit that bell. Let me tell you a secret that some grandmasters don't want you knowing unless you pay for something or a secret lesson or whatever. I'm going to tell you that secret. And this secret comes from a story of mine of rising up into becoming a better chess player. There were certain ratings that I couldn't pass when I was learning how to play chess. It was 1,000, 1,300, and 1,300 was short-lived, but it's really 1,000 and 1,600. Those ratings were very hard to pass, and I wish I would have had this understanding when I was trying to pass these certain ratings. I would feel that I wasn't progressing enough, or I didn't know enough. I would feel depressed that not depressed, that's a strong word, just a little bit upset that I wasn't really playing my best game consistently. And especially when I was at the 1,000 rating, I couldn't defeat this computer girl named Barry. And this girl was on Chess Master on the computer, and she was exactly the 1,000 rating. It was hard, but one day I defeated her. And I was super happy because all my training paid off. And so when I realized that all my training paid off, I was like, oh snap, then let me play her again. And she beat me in like the next 5 games. And then I was trying to realize, why didn't I win the next 5 games? What's wrong with me? I was just doing these dubious mistakes. And I wasn't even doing the best. I wasn't even playing the best game. I'm going to give you this hint on how to win more chess games. Since I've wished that somebody would have taught me this when I was playing in chess tournaments and playing online chess when I was a young boy, a young person trying to be a grandmaster when I grew up. Don't be stalled by this, and I want you to understand this. So let's start at when you think about a chess game. What do you think about when you think about a chess game? Do you think about checkmating your king, or do you think about what opening you should be playing, the middle game? What do you think about when you're playing a chess game? Do you think about your opponent, how strong they are? Hopefully not. Hopefully you're not thinking about that. But when I was a beginner, I usually thought about checkmating my opponent. Checkmating my opponent king. Making sure that my opponent resigned after I developed all my pieces or something. I really didn't have a clear goal in mind, but attacking my opponent's castled king. In taking pieces and capitalizing on their blunders. That's all that I knew. That was the limit of my knowledge. But I'm here to tell you that that's really wrong for you to think that way. It's really wrong for you to think that way because you're skipping a whole lot of steps in that process. You can't go from starting a chess game with how can I attack the king or how can I make my opponent resign. You shouldn't even be thinking about checkmating your opponent in the beginning of a game. Not when you're just now playing e4 or d4. No, you're missing all the steps that comes with playing a chess game. You have to start at the beginning of the chess game. And you have to make sure that you don't get ahead of yourself. Because if you get ahead of yourself, then it's all going to be jumbled in your head, and you're going to be having the wrong thoughts during the chess game. Your focus is going to be directed at the wrong thing. Your blows are not going to hit hit the person that you want to hit. It's going to be basically hit in the air. Have you ever seen a person just hit in the air, hitting just random blow? You're basically going to be shadow boxing because you're not going to be hitting anything. You're going to be shadow boxing the whole time. So it is best to reframe your thinking. Reframe what you've been thinking about chess in a different way, because you're facing a human. We're all people. We all make mistakes. We all make inaccuracies. So how should we be thinking? What mindset should we have when we're continuing on playing a chess game? Well, let me tell you. Instead of thinking, how can I win a chess game? Which that's probably what you looked up to find a video like this. Think about how you can overwhelm your opponent. How is thinking like this beneficial for you? Well, when you think about how to overwhelm your opponent, it goes a lot deeper than thinking about how to win a chess game. Because you're realizing that you're playing a human that messes up all the time. And grandmasters do this all the time. Figure out how to overwhelm their opponent. Even some grandmasters don't even play the best move of the position. They play the most human move. Something that they know that their opponent is going to take a lot of time to think about. And they might not play the best move to confront that not so great move that you did. Not the best move that you did. Because in chess, there's some positions that aren't that basic. It's not as black and white. There's multiple good moves. You just got to figure out your own idea how you can test your opponent. When you think like this, how to overwhelm your opponent, it gets your head in the right place. Let me explain. There's different ways how to overwhelm your opponent on different levels. How to overwhelm your opponent at 1600 is different from how to overwhelm your opponent at 1000 rating. How to overwhelm your opponent at a grandmaster level is different from how to overwhelm your opponent at a master level. Usually in a 1000 rating, you're just looking for mistakes. You're looking for if your opponent is playing the right moves or not. Are they even developing all their pieces? Are they even playing an opening? Why did they push up a5? What are they doing? If you're playing somebody at 1000 rating, that's what you're looking for, and then you just capitalize on that. But as you go up more on the rating ladder, you're going to have to figure out, how can I make sure that I'm causing problems for my opponent? How can I make sure that they are feeling as pressured as they? You have to make sure that your opponent is feeling pressured by every move that you do, every tempo that you place on the board. And how can you make sure that your human opponent feels pressured on the board? By doing specific ideas, tactics, strategies, learning specific things. And all that boils down to just one thing. One thing. Piece activity. If you have piece activity, you can overwhelm your opponent greatly in chess. The quality of your pieces is super important. That's why you see grandmasters sacrificing even some pawns just to get their pieces at a better square. Quality in pieces are important. If you don't have the right amount of pieces to attack the king, then that plan is going to be unsuccessful. If you don't have the right amount of pieces even developed to prepare for the middle game, then you're not going to be successful in trying to overwhelm your opponent. You're basically going to be giving your opponent just several ideas to do on you while you're still stuck in the opening. If you don't have piece activity, it's just going to be not so great for you. It's basically, you need to make sure that you're prepared. Make sure that you're prepared ahead of time for the battle. Make sure that you're inviting everybody to the party. It's best to do this, not just one game, but every single game that you play. And if you're not ahead in development, then you better have material on the side. You better be up in material, because certain qualities, certain things in chess can compensate for several different elements. And I can explain that later, the different elements in chess that you can have in your arsenal to evaluate a position. So thinking about how to overwhelm your opponent goes into deeper things in chess. And I'm pretty sure even on the Grandmaster level, you can see them playing openings that their opponent doesn't even know about. Playing nuances. Novelties is what they call it. Playing these nuances in an opening that they know that their opponent might have some trouble in if they haven't looked at it. Or certain grandmasters make the middle game super tactical because they know their opponent can't handle all the tactical variations and calculating. Seeking how to overwhelm your opponent comes on different levels, and that's what you need to figure out, how to cause your opponent trouble. And once you figure that out, then you Gucci, you all good. I just gave you a major secret. How to overwhelm your opponent comes down to piece activity. And many people might be thinking, oh, I know all about piece activity. I develop pieces every single time. But then it goes deeper into where you're putting those pieces. Are you putting them at the best squares in those positions? Are you putting your rooks on open files? Are you putting your knight into central squares? Do you need to put your knight on central squares depending on the pawn structure? Figuring out all those questions in your games is going to be important for you to get to that goal that you looked up this video at, how to win a chess game. So there you go. Try it out. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, share it with others so that we can all just spread this secret together to become the best chess players that we can be.
It's no turning back, pressing on toward the vision. Yeah, I see where we was, and I see where we going. It's no turning back, pressing on toward the vision. Yeah, man, we choosing to get up and keep it moving. It's